Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Crown Genesis in St. Pete, Florida, and guess what? I have the smallest of the Genesis lineup, but that doesn't mean you're not getting some big style and definitely some big luxury. This is a 2021 Himalayan Gray Genesis G70. This particular one is the Prestige trim, but before we get into this, like I said, the smaller of the Genesis lineup, let's talk about what's going on here. So 2021 Genesis G70, we are set for a redesign for 2022. But this G70, when it first appeared, was voted as North American Car of the Year and really allowed people who maybe haven't really seriously looked at the Genesis brand because of the G80 and the G90 sedans being so much larger. This really opened people's eyes that were looking for a replacement to, say, their BMW 3 Series or their Mercedes-Benz or Audi product. One thing is for certain, even though we're about to hit a redesign for the G70, the 2021 model is still bringing, like I said, that style, performance, and luxury. And should you wait for this redesign to get here? Or is this the one that you should be getting over a new BMW 3 Series, Mercedes-Benz, or Audi product? Let's go ahead, let's find out what this G70 is still bringing to the table. Right off the bat, the styling is looking fresh, even though it's been a couple years since the introduction of this model. Now, when we start at the front of the business, I still love the headlight housing. You're gonna get LED headlight, LED daytime running lamp, and then there's like a dark chrome finish to the interior of the headlight housing that looks really sharp. We work our way down, just a sprinkling of some gloss black. You're gonna have your lower lighting, plus functional side air curtains. So I really dig that style. Now, one area that I am gonna have to zonk is gonna be this fake vent area. I think that if they would have just left this smooth, it would have kind of blended in a lot more as a cohesive, clean design rather than them just kind of dropping that in there. But I do like the way the lower portion of the front fascia extends out, gives it a lot of depth to design just in this one corner. Now, as we come across the grille, the G70 grille, if you look at the bigger brother, the G80 or definitely the G90, the grills are getting so massive. It's a large grill, but it's gonna be interesting to see what that 2022, there's been some computer drawings and whatnot of what it's gonna look like, but grill size on the medium, not super size like the bigger brothers, but you do have a forward-facing camera. You have that chain link crisscross design. I wish that they would have went a little darker on the chrome finish. For me, it's just a little too bright of a chrome finish, so some dark blacked out chrome I think would have really hit the nail on the head. But I do like what Genesis is doing on their grille designs. It gives it a unique identity that separates it from the rest of the other luxury sedans. Now, this lower portion, you'll notice how it has that V-shaped design, which I think that's what you're gonna see when you go into 2022. Instead of the portion here of the grille being flat, it's gonna come to a V just like the bigger siblings, the 80 and the 90 sedans. But I do like the flat black finish and the way that the hood kind of just drapes down nicely into the front fascia. Now, when we get up onto that hood, you'll see the Genesis logo. Now remember, this brand, it's the new kid on the block still. It's only been around since 2017, but they are making big waves. And it's crazy to think that once upon a time, Genesis was a Hyundai product. Now it's its own premium brand, that Hyundai premium brand. I love on the hood how you have this nice indentation and then it just boomerangs towards the A-pillars. Other than that, a little bit of a rise, nothing too crazy, nothing too folded and like triangular, which I really dig on this vehicle. Now, when we come around the bend on this Prestige trim, you're gonna get a very, very tasteful, clean wheel and tire setup. So you're gonna get these nice split spoke. I love the machined aluminum, a nice metallic gray finish. Even the way they do the center cap badging looks great. 19-inch wheel. If you're wondering, well, Joe, you're probably saying, well, what's the size of the tire on this wheel? 225 on the width, 40 series sidewall, and you'll notice that they're wrapped in those Michelin tires, which are gonna give you some good grip and also some durability. But that Himalayan gray, I'm telling you, it's almost like the snow caps on top of the Himalayan mountains, the way that this thing sparkles in the sun. You have a nice hard body line that picks up mid to late fender into the door and then Also, I'm digging the side vent. It is functional. I just wish it was dark chrome. I think the dark chrome finish would kind of blend a little cleaner with it. Now, going down the side, the great news is you have a oversized, almost, I'm not gonna say it's a panoramic sunroof, but it's definitely a supersized sunroof. I wish that they, of course, would have blacked out the whole roof. I think that would just kind of clean it up. But you are gonna get color matching on the mirror caps. You have your LED lighting on the mirrors. I'm zonking the trim here. There's really no need to put some extra chrome trim, especially with how sporty this car looks. Also, you're gonna get bright, shiny metalwork, top and bottom, just a little darker. Just a few shades darker, I think would change the whole side appearance of this vehicle. You do have bright chrome door handles and very, very tasteful lower sill that just drops down super clean. As we get towards the rear, the way that they shape that rear window on the passenger door, I love the triangular shape to it, the way they take the trim, and it's got a nice indentation, gives it that nice element of design. And then as we get to the rear, which before we get to the tail end of the business, let me just show you what's going on here with this rear tire. So you're actually gonna get a little bit wider tire. And like I was saying, these are the Pilot Sport 4 tires. So you're gonna get that extra grip, and you're looking at a wider rear, which is gonna help you get traction to the ground, because remember, this is a rear-wheel drive sedan, which is amazing. I love that driving dynamic you're gonna get. Now, when you get to the rear of the G70, super clean on the trunk, the G70 badge, you can see our tail lights. Love the way they have the LED lighting and just the overall design. And then when you get to the center, I don't know if you hear the sirens, there's a big excitement about Genesis, and that's why we have to have these fire trucks and ambulances here, because so many people are rushing to Crown to see these different Genesis sedans and the new SUV. I think that's the real reason why those alarms are going off and sirens. But you do have the Genesis badge, super clean. They took some styling from Bentley, from some other brands, and kind of created their own badging. This one is the 2-liter turbo, which you'll be surprised. I think some people, when they see the 2.0 turbo, they're like, oh, is that enough power? I'll take you for a drive. We'll go on throttle, I promise you that. And then the lower rear diffuser, it's good looking, and there is some functionality to it. I don't know, there just wasn't enough of this material on the front of the vehicle to kind of bring it to the back. Doesn't seem cohesive enough. And what I'm also not in love with is you do have your dual exhaust, but it's only on one side. It would be nice to have the quad tip exhaust, or just have one on each side, not make this area so large and just have one on each side. But still, like I said, it won North American Car of the Year. But why don't we pop the hood and see that turbocharged engine? All right, guys, we got the hood popped on our 2021 Genesis G70. Now, when you look underneath, you're gonna see a lot of extra room because this engine is smaller. You have engine choice for your G70. You could go with the 2-liter turbo like we have, or you could also go with that twin turbo V6. Now, looking at the engine cover, I love the tasteful design. A little bit of silver. It's got the name turbo there, make you feel good if you ever pop the hood. You can see the structural bracing that they put at the front end of the business to kind of stiffen it up, but it is very, very large on the space. The great news is, as Lori pans around, you'll be able to see the direct location of where the turbo is on the passenger side underneath all that metal heat shielding to keep that engine compartment cool. But what are we looking at? We're looking at a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 252 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 6.4 seconds, quarter mile, 14.9 at 96 miles an hour. It does have a top speed that is governed to 145 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 3,676 pounds, MPGs 22 in the city, 30 on the highway. The great news is that if you need more power, you could get more power because you could go for that optional twin turbo V6. Now, the great news about going with the smaller engine is that because of that extra room, if you want some storage, maybe you want to heat up your Twinkies, the great news is, check it out, you literally could fit at least one box of Twinkies underneath the hood with that 2-liter turbo. So that's a nice advantage over the twin turbo V6. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to the interior and see how the luxury level is and where we're gonna have room for these. All right, guys, we're inside this 2021 G70. Like I said, prestige trim, so you're getting a lot of the goodies that you yearned for. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking at the German Euro luxury sedans. People are talking about Lexus. I hear them talking at my work, my place of business. They're really liking what they're bringing. I'm liking what you're showing. How much is this particular one? So the way that this one is optioned, MSRP is $45,000. Let's see what you get for the money to the door panels. Absolutely stunning when it comes to the materials and the finish. I love the bright silver. You have the Lexicon sound system. Lexicon's such a premium sound system, going to give you nice clear tunes. I love the diamond pleated stitching on the mid portion of the door panel. Soft to the touch on the armrest. The only bummer is the door pocket's a little tight. You can get a full bottle of Yoo-Hoo, but you know what? If you have a Krispy Kreme donut, you're going to want to just probably put one in there, or you're going to get glaze everywhere. If you go Dunkin' Donuts, you get jelly filled. One jelly filled, that's it, or you're going to be squirting strawberry jam all over this beautiful interior. Now, when you get to the dash, soft material, that beautiful silver finish looks classy. The stitch work, and it's soft. And then when you get to the center area, this is where you could see that the technology has kind of moved on. You know, right now when it comes to infotainment systems, it's almost like cell phones. Every single hour, there's a new piece of technology. And since this vehicle is a couple years old, this is where it shows. But you are getting an 8-inch infotainment system. Is it a touchscreen? Of course it's a touchscreen. You could go into your different menus. You do have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's got that nice swipe feature. It's got my favorite, love this, in the Genesis products, in the Hyundai products, the different nature sounds. So after you have a terrible day, say your kids have been annoying you like they always do, just go out in your car. Don't even drive anywhere. Just start it up and turn on the lively forest sound, and that will just relax you and lower your nervous system and bring you back to being sane again. But real easy to navigate through with that navigation. It's super clear. It is that iPad style, but you know what? I'm fine with it. But I know some people just absolutely hate those screens. But what I do love, and I think you will as well, is the stitching and the way it goes all the way around. I like where they have the start-stop button, easy to get to. It blends in nicely. You're going to have your slim and trim radio controls. And then look what we have. Heated steering wheel, heated seats, and yes, ventilated seats. Thank you, Genesis, especially at this price point. I love the silver finish. Knobs feel a little on the cheaper side, but they look really, really good. Look at the doors. Nice soft material. We slide this baby open. Wireless charging, USBs, and a 12 volt and an aux jack. So they got you covered. The only challenge is you can't put a Twinkie in there, but that's all right. You could put your phone to charge her up, push that back, and then soft material. This is going to control that 8-speed automatic transmission, no CVT. You do have your drive mode selector, which is great. And then let me go ahead. I forgot to put it into reverse. I know Lori right now is probably cursing me, but I'm going to put it into reverse, and there's your backup camera. So you have 360. We have, of course, trajectory, and then you can select your different views for whatever you want to see. So I do like that flexibility there when it comes to the camera technology. And for the most part, it's fairly clear, which is good news. I'll put it back in the park, but we have our drive modes. I'll show you more of that. I do like the silver, a little bit of silver around your 2 cup holders. Here is your Genesis key fob. It's a little on the large side. It almost reminds me of a Samsung flip phone that I had back in college, but the good news is that it's classy looking and it's got the Genesis logo there. Armrest, I'm going to say semi-soft to almost hard, but it does have the stitching, nice quality. Whoa, look what we have there. So you have a USB felt lining, so you're not going to scratch any of these beautiful Twinkies, and you basically could fit 8 Twinkies in here. I would not go any higher because, as you see, we tried, and this is your end result. You got a busted Twinkie, and no guy wants a busted Twinkie. Look at that. That looks sad. But we'll put that back in there to finish off. We're finishing on a high note. The seats. Look at the leather. I like the trim, the stitch work, the piping. Of course, full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And then really the cherry on top of this beautiful sundae that I wish I really had a sundae right about now to eat is that you have this microfiber suede material. I like the way it's a lighter color. When you're listening to the forest, if you want to calm yourself down a little bit more, just pet the headliner. Yeah, that feels good. And then, like I promised you, you have a super-sized sunroof. Not a panoramic, but it is a little larger than your standard sunroof, and that allows you to get some vitamin D to kind of tie in the whole relaxation and health in your Genesis G70. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind this beautiful steering wheel in our G70. All right, guys, business time. The great news is you do have 2 memory seat settings, which is nice. Let somebody borrow your G70, somebody you trust at least. I do like the brushed aluminum on the sill with the Genesis name. Let you, remind you what vehicle you bought in case you forgot. You do have your full electric assist, even with that lower lumbar. No massage seats, but you know what? Even a BMW 3 Series doesn't have massage seats, so I'm okay with that. Plenty of headroom. Being 6 feet tall, I have plenty of headroom. You do have an electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel, head-up display, and then the steering wheel looks great. Even though it's not flat bottom, I love the soft leather and especially the 2 different types of leather, perforated and smooth. You got the crisscross stitching, tasteful horn button, like the flat black thumb knobs, which are great. And then we do have paddles. They are plastic, but you do have paddles to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And then the dash. You do have a digital display in the center, analog tach, analog speedometer. They're both backlit LED. You could go through different information, which is great. Of course, you're going to get all your safety features. Let me show you the different drive modes. So you have comfort, you have eco, smart. Say you don't feel really good because a lot of people are being hard on you. They're calling you dumb. Put it in smart mode. That'll make you feel better. Comfort, sport, and then custom. You could fine tailor this G70 to exactly what you are all about when it comes to driving habits. But you know what? I'm loving it up here. I'm just curious how your passengers are gonna love being in the smaller G70. All right, guys, back seat time in the G70. And this is where things get a little rough. Compared to the competition, it is a little tight back here. We do have the seats moved up a little bit just so I could feel a little extra comfortable. The headliner, even though it's nice and soft, it is close to my body, a little too close for a long drive, at least I feel. But the materials are really soft, and the way that the seats are angled, I think is super smart to kind of help you with your seating position. Now, you do have plastic on the backs of the seats, which in this type of vehicle, I'm not really digging, and I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm zonking these cargo nets. It just, I don't know, it just looks like a rental car to me from the back. But you do have rear AC, and you do have a USB, which is great. Plus, what I like, you have that chauffeur seat option here where I can move and adjust the seat right from this position. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, move it all the way back. Let's see. Okay, so I'll show you. So that's what we're talking about. If you move the back seat, if you move that passenger seat too far back, it's gonna hurt. So hopefully whoever your passenger is in front of you, they like you, or they'll break your legs. I mean, that's a Italian mafia thing, but somebody will break your legs by going too far back. Armrest though, that's a little softer than the armrest for the people up front, and you do have your 2 cup holders, which are great. Flap it back. Feel good? Let's go ahead and get to the trunk because I'm ready to take this for a drive. All right, guys, time to get into the trunk. I know a lot of people, they're like, oh, should I buy a sedan because of the lack of trunk space compared to an SUV? But here is what you have. Now, the good news is it flips up nice and quickly, super wide on the opening, and you can see how those seats are gonna do the 60-40 tango split. Now, what are you looking at? You're looking at 11 cubic feet of space. Not the largest, but you know what? Like I said, if you need a bigger vehicle and you want to stick to sedan, there's the G80 and the G90. You do get the premium, not the low grade, but the premium first aid kit, and there's a nice little cubby here. I say get rid of the first aid kit. Let people get hurt. Let people bleed all over the place. You can keep your box of Twinkies right here. But there's plenty of room for all the groceries and the kids' school stuff. But why don't we go ahead? Enough talking about this car sitting here. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in the Genesis G70. All right, guys, we're in this 2021 Genesis G70. Right away, I'm telling you, if I blindfolded you and had you sit in this vehicle and just kind of touch the different surfaces, I really feel like you would think you were in a car that costs at least $20,000 more than what the price of this vehicle is. Seats are very supportive. The bottom is a little on the flat side, so you're gonna wanna really spend some time sitting behind the wheel of one of these, because it's a little different, but I do like the bolstering, and overall the comfort is really, really nice, because with the bolstering and the lower lumbar, you could adjust it to really fit your particular body type. Steering wheel is great. I love the 10 and 2 notches, nice soft leather. Visibility out the front is great. Out the back, it's a little on the tight side, but compared to the competition, you're still gonna have that same exact issue. Now, the 8-inch infotainment system, it's funny how on the G80 and the GV80 with the larger screens, that 14.5-inch screen really makes this feel outdated, but the great news is it's clear. I love the height of it, and it's easy to get to. That's the other wonderful thing about this car, is that the setup, it's very easy to figure everything out. I do have it in sport mode, and remember, we are rear-wheel drive with that 8-speed automatic, having the ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel, and then of course all that great connectivity is also a big plus, especially at this price point. But the car, very comfortable when it comes to just the layout and the controls and the finishes. All right, guys, we're gonna do a little acceleration test from a dead stop. I'm just gonna leave it in automatic. Once the light turns green here, on throttle, here we go. So you're getting the power to the ground very effectively, and it definitely feels a little bit quicker than what the numbers reveal. But the good news is that if you don't go twin turbo V6, you're still gonna have plenty of pep in your step with this Genesis G70, and I do like that. I like the way that the intro base motor is not just a dog. But the great news is, if you want that extra power and you want to do 0 to 60 in about 4.2 seconds, go the G70 with the twin turbo. That makes things much, much more enjoyable from a performance standpoint. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to make a U-turn here. I love the throttle sensitivity in sport mode. Steering is great. On throttle, here we go. You're not really waiting for the boost to come around. It's very, very smooth with the power delivery. Steering feel could be just a little tighter, but overall, the car feels super balanced and very, very composed, which I would really do back-to-back drives. Like if you could go and do your test drives, if you're looking at those German Euro luxury sedans like a BMW 3 Series, definitely do like a back-to-back and see how you feel, because I really think when it comes to the pricing and the value, you're gonna be blown away. On throttle, here we go. Really, really smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and make a right-hand turn here, and I'm gonna use the paddle. So we're in second gear. You do have a gear indicator, which is nice. Just be careful of people crossing the street, of course. Trying to follow all the rules of the road. But on throttle, here we go. So the paddles, they're a little too inward on the steering wheel, but the good news is there's a lot of surface area for you to hit the paddle to go into the next gear. And the great news about that is that you're not gonna be thinking about it too much while you're driving the Genesis G70. I just wish they came a little further out to the edge, the perimeter of the steering wheel. But I really do love this steering wheel, and it's very easy to navigate through the switch gear on the steering wheel, which is good news as well. All right, guys, making a left-hand turn here. Very, very comfortable though. I do like how quiet it is on the interior, how the structural integrity, like it just feels like it's built really, really, really well. And I think that that's gonna just blow you away with the price point. Here we go. Head-up display. I like seeing the rise. It's interesting because that V-shaped indentation on the hood actually gives you two rises from this vantage point from behind the wheel, and it allows you to really see perfectly your perspective to keep within the lane, to see your reference points. I'm really digging that. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the G70 is all about. We're gonna get back to Crown Genesis here and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been another great day here at Crown Genesis. I definitely gotta thank Steven, Devin, and the whole crew getting us access to this Himalayan gray G70. It really showcases what Genesis is capable of. I'm excited about what they're gonna be bringing into the future, but you know what? Why wait? You could drive one of these and have such high luxury standards to the interior, but also some nice driving dynamics as well. But if you wanna keep seeing smaller luxury sedans like this G70 on Ready's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ready's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you in the channel, click the link in the description. Get yourself some Ready's Rise merch. Got to give it up to the queen of the camera. Out here, doesn't matter if it's sunny, cloudy, rainy, snowing, or a swarm of grasshoppers and locusts. Lori's working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in the comment section. Just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.